Titanfall is a fascinating concept. It's a first-person shooter with giant robots. This is an idea that I can get behind, because as you see, as a kid, I loved giant robots. Actually, as an adult, I still love giant robots. And Titanfall follows in that tradition. You see, robots are all over the place in popular culture. You have franchises like Transformers, Power Rangers, Robotech, other stuff. People love beating the shit out of each other with giant robots. It is a mathematically proven fact. To add fire to this cause, Respawn, this past summer, gave us 2 pre-alpha multiplayer weekends to try out the new title, Titanfall 2. Now, I was very impressed. I got a fair amount of enjoyment out of those 2 weekends, and it made me really want to bust out Titanfall 1 as I needed more big robot action. And as expected, I couldn't help but notice the differences between the 2 games. Now, of course, obviously, there are going to be differences. It's an updated game, but I wanted to talk about my feelings towards the games, as well as my observations. So, sit back, relax, as I, Kevin McNeil, and Haruokay present Titanfall vs. Titanfall 2, Clash of the Titans, Fall. Titles are hard. Now, the original Titanfall was a really fun game, but it felt really sparse when it came to content. The entire game from start to finish was just a multiplayer game. The story campaign in Titanfall, it was all done through the multiplayer, and while it does have a story, pretty cut and dry story, it did try to build a world for the most part, but people really couldn't care for it. For the most part, people just wanted to get into some giant robot fighting action, and for the most part, that is exactly what we got. Not that that's really bad. The action was fast-paced, the weapons were pretty balanced, and the rewarding feel of getting that amazing kill, it's all there. It's all there, just like any first-person shooter. But the problem was, there wasn't enough. Many players had no idea of being introduced to this world. The average player will normally just go through the single-player campaign and get a feel for the mechanics, and once they understand the nuances and the gameplay, that's when they move on to the challenge of multiplayer. Now, multiplayer is where this game does kind of shine, because once you're in multiplayer, the game feels very alive, and in terms of the actual mechanics of the game, it's very fast-paced. In fact, speed is the main thing that you get with a Titanfall. The game is built specifically with multiplayer in mind, and it does shine in that aspect. You do have a lot of different game modes. You have your basic player versus player, or pilot versus pilot, which is a mode where there is no Titans, you're just fighting against other pilots. And while that is, or can be fun, it takes away from what the game was made to be. You don't play the game to play as the pilot. The pilot is just what you use in order to get to the Titan. The Titan is the reason you're playing this game. It's called Titanfall for a reason. I believe the reason they put the player versus player, pilot versus pilot mechanic in is they wanted to have some of a competitive feel, and later they introduced a ranking system, which you can see in some of the video here. This ranking system, based on how many battle marks you get subtracted based on your losses or your kills. I'm not going to be the best representation of this because, as you can see from the game here, I just hit level 50 as of playing the game recently. Now, I'm not the best at these types of games. In Halo, I'm average at best. But Titanfall, in its essence, is a game that's designed to be picked up and played by anybody. And that's a really good strong suit, but it also takes away the competitive edge, because a lot of these games, and this game was developed by Respawn. Respawn is made by 2 of the guys that worked on the Call of Duty franchise, probably one of the biggest competitive multiplayer games that exists out there. Titanfall was a fun game. I had a lot to improve on though, so when you go into your campaign, you're just going into multiplayer matches that have a story that you can barely pay attention to because you're too busy not getting shot in the face, and when you stop and try to kind of absorb that information, it really falls apart very quickly. In fact, the only reason I know the story is because I have the strategy guide. I bought the strategy guide because I like to buy special edition strategy guides when I buy games. It's the thing that I do. One thing I mentioned before is Titanfall felt very fast and there's a lot of action. It's very easy to pick up and go. Titanfall 2 takes that same aspect and improves on it 1,000-fold. So you have all kinds of new mechanics. The sliding mechanic, which allows you to run, slide, and then get into a crouched or prone position, which is really useful in trying to find cover. But when used in conjunction with the grappling hook, allows you to travel amazing distances. And yes, there is a grappling hook. If you've played the Attack on Titan game, or always wanted to be, one of the guys in Attack on Titan, or Spider-Man even, The grappling hook is really fun, super fun. In fact, there was a couple of matches where I just kind of glided around the stage and really didn't pay attention to anybody because I was just in awe of how fast it was. The way the game plays is a little bit different because now you don't have a timer for your Titan. It's all based on how many points you get during the game. Your performance is how you are rated, not so much whether you win or lost the game, which is also really good. You can get better rewards, there's more customization options for your character as well. The Titans are very standard, so there's not a lot in terms of bonuses. The Titan just levels up and you can change style aspects, but it's a little bit different than it was in TitanFall 1. It's like from the looks of things, they scrapped all of the original models and brought a couple of new ones in. We got the Scorch Titan and the Ion Titan. Scorch Titan is really good. It's very heavy duty, very slow, so you can actually feel the weight of the Titan. But its Scorch attacks are really good for getting rid of large areas of enemies, setting up defenses, making a good perimeter. It was a very powerful machine, but the Ion Titan I absolutely loved because it felt like I was playing in a Gundam unit. Here's why. It has a shoulder-mounted laser cannon, which was really cool. Its main weapon was kind of a very large beam weapon. I absolutely love that as well, but its chest laser was very Majin Z, actually, now that I think about it. It was really cool. You would get that particular power-up and you would just decimate opponents' Titans on the field. Titanfall 2, Pre-Alpha Boogaloo, came with 3 multiplayer modes. Pilot versus Pilot, which I didn't play because I don't care for Pilot versus Pilot, but it had Hardpoint Domination, which I enjoyed, and Bounty Hunter, which is a new style, which I absolutely love. Bounty Hunter takes the concept of attrition and makes it a little bit faster. Yes, you are still 2 teams of 5 people. There are still AI units on the ground. The AI grunts help people that are not very good at the first-person shooter aspect, are still trying to get into it. It gives them something to shoot at, because here's the thing. If you don't get enough points, you do not get a Titan. So now you can't just like sit on the side of the field and wait for your Titan to come down. No, you gotta earn your Titan. You always had to earn your Titan in the other game, but it's mostly a time-based bonus. This is based on kill streaks. In Titanfall 2, burn cards are out, perks are in. Now burn cards, they would give you different abilities and perks based on what the card had. So you'd be able to take 3 of these cards into battle and you can use them, and you have a huge deck of about 46 cards, and you would get different cards based on challenges. And later on they added a black market aspect, so you would gain credits during your game and you could use those to buy burn card packages or boosters. Now in Titanfall 2, you just have one ability that you take with you, and you get it when you have a certain amount of points. And you don't have to use it right away, you can save it for a later moment. But I like the amped weapon. Amped weapons are really good because if you have one that has very decent sights on it or decent ammo, you could do a fair amount of damage very quickly before you are killed and lose that ability entirely. But the big thing is the Titans feel a lot stronger. Everything overall feels like you're earning everything that you're getting. With Titanfall 1, it was fun, but you didn't feel like you earned your successes the same way that you do in Titanfall 2.
Keep it up, 6-4.
It's good to have you back, pilot.
Eliminate the Resistance forces in the area. Beware of rival factions, but keep your eyes on the prize.
Titanfall 2 is a game I am definitely going to pick up. The game feels fantastic. It feels like it's going to live up to the hype, and I really hope it's not going to be like a lot of other disappointing sequels. So I would recommend, if you can, get your hands on Titanfall 2. You cannot play the alpha beta, but honestly, Titanfall 2 looks like it's going to be a fantastic game, and I really hope it's the better of the two. So, this is Kevin from Haruokay, dealing with jets.
Standing by. Firing laser core. Multiple Titans are here to you. Those standing first.
Thanks for watching the video, guys. If you really liked listening to me rant about Titanfall 1 and 2 and how much I like robots, you can see other stuff about that too. Take a look at our Let's Talk Abouts. Take a look at our top 10s. Take a look at exhibitions if you want to learn about some new comic books. In fact, take a look at Transformers. It also has robots. What? Crazy. Oh, and of course, check out all the stuff from Cartridge Club. They're a really cool group. We absolutely love them, and they're really supportive to people like us in the community that's just doing this to have a great old time. Oh, and stay tuned.